Hi and welcome back to another episode of Talk to Experts. We're talking with Dr. Dakshayani Khanna and we've been talking about stress in children and we've had a long conversation about many different things. But ma'am, one thing that a lot of parents ask is how do they ensure that they can avoid the situation of stress in a child altogether? In a lot of cases, it's because the child feels overwhelmed by the number of things that they're doing. So any suggestions or recommendations in terms of how children can balance their study time, play time, work time and all that together?
When you look at a child growing, basically all the dimensions of the child have to grow, whether it is emotional, physical, mental, intellectual, and also social. So you need to have activities that are going to be planned for their relaxation and holistic growth. That is very, very important. You know, days are gone wherein you would say 99% is what I'm looking at, and my child has to get into medicine and engineering. And you see that most of these IITians who come out, they feel stressed and they feel that, okay, they're not enjoying their life. I've seen army officers who have gone at, say, 14 into NDA, coming out and telling me that I missed all my college life. Okay, there was nothing but this. So ensure that the child gets a break. It's not studies all the time, and the child needs to have some kind of music and dance and lighter aspects of life wherein he can enjoy his time. Physical growth is absolutely important for the child because unless the child is healthy and has the stamina, he will not be able to perform well whatever his course that he is going to take or profession that he is going to handle. See that he gets into enough games so that his body is physically strong and he is able to do it. And at the same time, you also cannot allow him to overdo. Children are very good at manipulating people. The way they come and talk about parents to us and us to parents, definitely they'll create that situation wherein you feel that, oh, the school is actually troubling my child by giving homework. And then, the teacher says, oh, parent doesn't even care. He comes and tells me, don't give homework. So there has to be an understanding. It's a three-way approach that normally has to be taken. Please ensure that your child gets enough relaxation time and your actual expectations from the child, whether it is school or the parent, has to be very realistic. See that this child is capable of doing these things and don't make him overdo it because there is a snap. The elasticity goes off and the child stops completely regarding what he is doing. So that needs to be carefully handled because getting into a situation and finding a remedy is a later process, but not getting into it, allowing the child to actually express himself is very, very important for it. So activities has to be planned that way. That is one of the most important things I tell parents, that they need to be in touch with them, spend time with them, understand what they like and try to encourage them in whatever they are good. So that has to be done from the business.
Ma'am, you spoke about the dynamic between parent and the school and the child and how the child creates a dynamic sometimes. So what would your suggestions be for parents in terms of how can they partner with the school to ensure that there's no stress in students?
I think regular visits to the school in terms of PTAs is very, very important. Normally what happens, I see that a Montessori setup, you call for a parent meet, you have 100% attendance. When you call for a primary, it becomes 70%. When you call for a middle school, it becomes almost 50%. When you call for 11th and 12th standard meeting, there are hardly any parents there. So what happens in the mind of the child, he starts feeling that it's okay to be whatever he is. And teenage is an age wherein children get influenced by their friends and other things. There are loads of distractions now. 20 years back or a couple of decades back, when you look at it, there was hardly anything except for physical activities. I remember parents coming and telling me 20 years back, saying that once he goes out to play, he doesn't come back. And now parents come and tell me I have to push him to go outside and play. So there's a lot of difference between the distractions that were there and that are here. So you need to be in touch with the teacher and be open, because what happens when the child has a fever or any kind of issue, parent doesn't mind taking him to the hospital and showing him. But if the child has a problem with learning, they feel so, like they feel that it has to be something that has to be hidden. And they do not want to go to a counselor. In fact, I get calls saying that, why was my child sent to the counselor? It's that the child wanted to talk to the counselor because she had some issues. We did not send. But parents need to realize that today's child is no more a child who doesn't know anything. They know what they want. Only thing is they need to be in touch with each other. See, together if we work on the child and see that the child is following the steps that are expected, the child can do wonders. Whereas if one of us take a back seat, the teacher will actually says that, okay, the parent will come and just blame us, saying that you're not doing anything, I'm paying the fees and you're expected to teach the child. It doesn't happen. At the same time, the teacher also cannot put the blame on the parent. If we work together, today's children are going to be amazing citizens of tomorrow. They have loads of capabilities. Their IQ is much higher than what was ours previously. But given the situation, their problem handling capacity has become lesser and lesser. Now, anytime you talk to any child, you feel that he's in depression because he has not got the marks that was expected or has not done anything that parent has expected. But he knows he has not put in his effort. He also knows that. But if both of us are there from the beginning and saying that this is where we find a difference in his behavior and this is where your focus is required, your support is required, and work together, he will never get into a depression or never get into a situation where stress is overwhelming. So this is one of the things that we will have to actually concentrate on. That little time of 15 minutes through a phone call, through an email or a diary note or meeting the teacher will solve big problems that they're going to face later.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
It's a pleasure.
We hope you found this series useful so far. We've been in conversation with Dr. Dakshaini Khanna about stress in children. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments and we'll do our best to come back to you on that. We look forward to seeing you in the next episode of the series, Talk to Experts. Stay tuned.